And I know you've said before that Bitcoin is the world's biggest and most important trust network. And talking a little bit about trust and something else people are worried about in the future as far as open source, open AI, and whether that will truly be something that is open and censorship resistant. Because now people are sending videos, creating deep fakes, and they're wondering, did this person actually send this to me? And so I know that you have some thoughts on how Bitcoin can actually help verify and prove identity and allow you to cryptographically sign for pieces of information so that the person receiving it on the other end knows that it can be trusted. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Sure. I think that the promise of AI is that this digital intelligence can do incredibly intricate things as well as or better than actual human beings. But one of the challenges of it is that means that you can spin up a billion fake AI accounts on Twitter or YouTube or Facebook that are more interesting and more engaged than the actual human beings are that they replace. And those AIs can pass the CAPTCHAs or the proof of humanity test. And so that means that we can no longer rely upon free accounts that are not cryptographically secured or monetarily secured. So the solution that Lightning offers and the solution that Bitcoin offers is the idea that someone can create an identity and they can post a security deposit, say $20 or some 100,000 Satoshis. And then once you posted that deposit, you can cryptographically sign that credential and then use that credential as your verification to cross the iMessage network or the Twitter network or the YouTube network or a Microsoft network or a Facebook network. And you can integrate those networks together. So you can integrate the blue checks from all those networks together. You can log in and authenticate as a real person onto that network. And in many cases, if there is no friction, then you open up the door for AI-driven toxicity. If there's no friction for me to comment on your post in Twitter, then 800,000 fake bots can comment and they can create any impression they want. So the way to create that friction is to require some minor deposit. Maybe it's a micropayment, like 100 Satoshis. Maybe it's a deposit of security that guarantees that you're not going to launch a phishing attack on me or a cyber attack on me. So when you introduce that small deposit, let's say $10 to move through cyberspace, it's de minimis for a human being because they post $10 of Bitcoin once in their life. But if I wanted to launch 1 billion bots at you, it would cost me $10 billion to do it. So when you create that little bit of friction, you create consequence and truth and integrity in cyberspace. And if you introduce that across all these social media, you can use it to clean up the phishing and the scamming and the toxicity. And you have this other very interesting promise of Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin's the world's most secure computer network. So if I wanted to inscribe a document, let's say my last will and testament, I could inscribe that document and encrypt it and then place it on the Bitcoin network. I could digitally sign it with my private key. It would be distributed to hundreds of thousands of nodes around the world. It would be impossible to squeeze off of the network for 1,000 years. Something will go on for hundreds or thousands of years. So I'm cryptographically burning it into the network. And then I'm guaranteed to be able to send that message anywhere in the world because Bitcoin is a nation-state resistant cyber network. If I gave you $100 billion, and you had 4 years, and you spent that entire 4 years with 100 billion trying to build hash power to attack the network, you could somewhat slow down my message, but you couldn't stop my message after 4 years and $100 billion. So Bitcoin it's a way to inscribe truth forever. It's a way to convey truth, message it anywhere. And then finally, a decade after Satoshi mined Bitcoin, Satoshi could prove that they're the owner of those wallets by signing a message instantly. And so 100 years from now, or 50 years from now, or 20 years from now, someone could prove that they are the ones that logged that last will and testament or that document cryptographically on the Bitcoin network. And so that makes Bitcoin the most trustworthy truth network in the world. And the promise of AI is I can create anything I can imagine, and yet the scary, terrifying part of AI is that people can actually create videos of Michael Saylor saying anything they want me to say,
right,
that sounds like me, that looks like me. And so the question really will be, in 10 years, how will I cryptographically prove that I said it and that I meant it? And I think that in that regard, you can see the real power of a network like Bitcoin, where you can prove you said it, you can prove you own it. Obviously, one important thing to prove you own is your money.
right.
And that was the first application of Bitcoin. But I think that the world is waking up to the benefits of the Bitcoin network as the ultimate cybersecurity network and cyber truth network. And entrepreneurs are going to start to see that there are myriad applications using Bitcoin and using Lightning to cross-integrate truth, integrity, authentication, authenticity in many cyber domains. Many of them are related to money, but others are going to be related to registry or authenticity and integrity, and I think the world needs that more than ever today.